Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Drive-In Movies, the podcast where I talk about movies and television shows on my drive to work. Today, I will be talking about Monsters University, the sequel to the wildly successful Pixar film Monsters, Inc., and this released in 2013. I'm sure I will do Monsters, Inc. One of these days, but I saw this recently, and so I figured it would be a good time to do it. I'm going to try very hard, by the way, with the ordering of these, to shake up the genres a bit. So, if these are being posted in the order I recorded them, which they may or may not be, I just finished a 4-film review of the Terminator franchise. Terminator, it's a classic movie, but it's a little bit older. Not many people know about it, particularly now. It was much more popular back in the day. So this is a more recent movie. It's an animated film, it's a comedy, it's a kids movie. There's a lot of different aspects to it. So I'm going to try to shake up the genres as much as I possibly can here, while still sticking to movies I've seen, because I don't think reviewing movies that I have not seen would be a very smart idea. Monsters University, the premise is, interestingly, it's a prequel to Monsters, Inc. So Monsters, Inc., they're working in this factory where they have to collect the screams of children in order to power, basically provide power for their world. Monsters University is before that, where Mike Sully and, oh, come on, what's his name? The big blue guy. Mike Sully and... Oh, yes. James Sullivan. Sully and Sullivan, right. You usually don't have characters that have names that sound the same, but in this movie you do. I'm just realizing right now. So, the things you can notice when you do a podcast on your drive to work. You can also notice that there's a guy on your left-hand side that's driving just fast enough so that you can't change lanes, but that's okay. They're going to university to the School of Scaring so they can learn how to scare things. And so there's some pretty standard archetypes. Mike Sully is a hard worker, very, very prepared, really wants to be a scarer, gets in with good grades, and then, like many people find out in university, realizes that there's a lot more to it than simply just studying. It's a little bit different than you want. Interestingly, one thing I really like about this movie is it doesn't go in all the directions you expect it to go. There's sort of some different setups. So, I thought, since Mike and James, oh my goodness, Mike Wazowski. I was gonna say Mike Sully sounded really weird, but Sully's the other guy, Mike Wazowski. All right. Oh, that's gonna make it into the final cut. All right. So Mike and Sully, they're very good friends in Monsters, Inc. The stereotypical thing to do would be to put them as freshman roommates in college. They do not do that. Mike Wazowski's roommate is, in fact, Randy, who is one of the antagonists of Monsters, Inc. But here is, he's a really good friend to Mike. He's not the mean, conniving guy we see. He's actually a nice guy. He's got his own fears. He gets along quite well with Mike. It's a really good characterization for that character. And so, they go in, they're experiencing their first classes, all that new freshman experience, and boom, enter James P. Sullivan. Really cocky, sort of the stereotypical jock. His father was a champion scarer, he's got it all, he's got it made, he thinks he's really good, he doesn't really do his studying, and a lot of good stereotypes there. So we move through, Mike Wazowski is really studying for this important final, and lo and behold, something goes wrong. I don't want to give away too much of the plot, but suffice it to say that they need to win. Mike and Sully end up unlikely partners, and they have to try to win this big scaring tournament along with a standard issue team of laughable rejects from the scaring school, a certain fraternity. So anyway, that happens. A lot of funny stuff happens with preparation, and there's some really heartfelt moments too. And so there is a nice little twist at the end, by the way, which I really like. Ooh. And I really, it comes to an interesting, satisfying ending, but not the satisfying ending you think it's going to be. They really do pull something, and it's a movie with a lot of heart and a lot of integrity as well. I really like that about it. Another thing is, by the way, and you wouldn't think this is possible. Pixar has managed to make a movie about university that is completely clean, which is probably a first forever. Most films, I'm thinking of stereotypical, Revenge of the Nerds kind of thing. Like, that is a dirty film. I did see the film, and I'm a nerd, so I thought I'd like it, and there were aspects of it I liked, but man, is that film dirty. Anyway, got some very, very talented voice acting in this film. Billy Crystal returns as Mike Wazowski. Puts on a really good sort of high voice. He shows range, and he sounds really great when he's freaking out. He adds that sort of manic air to it that I really enjoy. How he brings in sort of many different layers to the character. I like that. And he works very well off John Goodman, who plays Sully. John Goodman, of course, has a tremendous voice, a really good voice, and is very well suited. He's got that nice, deep, rich basso tone that really lends itself well to the very large character of Sully. But he also has a very good range, so the two of them do a very, very good job with our two leads. A couple other characters. Randy is voiced by Steve Buscemi, who is an absolutely perfect choice for this, because he can really put on that sort of sly, slithering kind of character that Randy is. And then you have the dean of the scaring school, interestingly, who is played by Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren does some voice work, obviously, but I mean, and I mentioned this, British acting is absolutely amazing, and their voice acting is no exception. So, like, she absolutely nails it. Very, very refined, very scary. I mean, the animators do a good job of making her very scary to fit with that voice as well. Very, very good job here by Helen Mirren. A few other things, you have Alfred Molina is one of the professors. A few other names, Sean Hayes, I believe, and a couple others that you may not be as familiar with. It's a very, overall, it's a very high quality voice cast that we have here. Monsters University also has a really neat thing going on, pardon me, where it starts out, the first third of it is incredibly optimistic. Life is good. I'm at a new place. I got this new school. It's really, really like, you got a lot going on, and it does. There's a lot of references in there if you've ever been to university. For things that typically happen for a freshman in university. You've got all these clubs, and they get to have a lot of fun with it. There's some really good wordplay there, and the characters are really good too. I'm thinking of the people who run these scaring games. I can't remember the characters' names. No idea who the actors are. But there's the stereotypical sort of female that is kind of interested to be here, but is kind of cool for it as well. And then just like this big hulking jock type of guy who's just like, it was totally awesome. These guys actually like got their heads taken off last year. Like, it was crazy. Like, just sort of a let's go for a kegger type, which I gotta say, I met a few of those when I went to university. It's, the characterizations are done very, very well. There's a lot of good character development as well. Mike sort of realizes, comes to terms being self-aware, how he tries to be a scare, but he's not a particularly scary monster. Sully really learns how to scare properly, but how also that being responsible and reliable is a good thing. I mean, the nice part about these kinds of movies is they teach important lessons as well, which I really like. And you get to, now Randy has a very interesting character arc as well that I don't want to go into. And all the characters have heart. Even Helen Mirren's Dean Hardscrabble has some heart. It's very, very entertaining. One thing I will say, I find some people can hate on animated films a little bit. Oh, they're for kids, and well, yes, but they're for kids, but not exclusively. You can still enjoy an animated film as an adult. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So it's definitely worth a watch if you've got kids or kids. I mean, there's jokes for them, sort of obvious jokes, but there is some subtlety thrown in there that the kids will miss. It's not like it's dirty or anything, but there is some interesting little subtle turns of phrase that the adults will be able to chuckle at. I know there are a few that I enjoyed, and a few visual jokes as well. Lots, and of course, again, you got to remember, I have quite a bit of experience with kids. I'm a former child myself, actually. And in my day job, which I'm almost at right now, I'm a teacher. So I do a lot of work with kids, and these are the kinds of things that definitely appeal to kids, but not exclusively kids. Adults will very much enjoy this, and if you liked Monsters Inc., you will definitely like this. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Again, it's a clean film about college, which I did not think was possible, so I'm very pleased was able to happen. And yeah, it's a very, very good offering from Pixar, who is known for making quality material. So I'm at work, so thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time.